let's go ahead and jump right into this. So what we do here on the Hump Day Chat, Gerry and I talk for about 15, 20 minutes about a specific subject, hopefully to get your mind going, give you some information, get you thinking on how to make your shop better. So there's really three things that we offer here. One is inside the Successful Shop Owner group, we have a free group where we give a lot of good information out. But if you guys want to ask some questions of Gerry and I, get more in-depth training, we also have another group called the War Room. And then that's a group training, group coaching inside that, very inexpensive. And then for those of you that would like one-on-one, be just like Gerry, because Gerry's going to walk you through and work one-on-one with Gerry. That is our Maverick Shop Owners group. But we are here live inside the Successful Shop Owners group. And so today's subject, what the heck are we talking about?
Price.
Prices.
Oh, everybody, right? Price. Everybody just grimaced.
Yeah, like, ooh, hate that.
How much for brakes?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, this was kind of started off by one of the questions I was asked inside Successful Shop Owner, where somebody was asking, what does everybody charge for labor out in California, for example, and people tossing their prices out left and right. So that kind of got me thinking, and I thought, well, we really should be paying attention to what's the right price for you, and are you going to play that game? 25 years ago when I entered into this industry, probably the one thing that everybody was bitching most about is that they weren't getting paid for the kind of work they were doing. Everybody, they're competing against that low, that asshole down the street that's charging way too little money. How do you compete on that? So it's compete, price. Same old story. I'm still hearing it today. We sent out a survey to our email list to ask some questions, and quite a few people wanted to have training on how to compete on price. So I thought, well, hey, perfect time, had Hump Day right now. So let's go ahead and talk on that, because I don't know about you, Gerry, but I think there's always going to be somebody out there willing to undercut you, right?
In our day and age, it's crazy. And I've been doing this a long time. I got the battle scars to prove it, but even things like an oil change, it's about the same price as it was 20 years ago. It just blows my mind. I don't know if I think there's some folks in here that are Facebookers, right? Mm-hmm. There's a local community Facebook group, and I put a couple things on there to sell. Have you ever done that, Ron?
Yeah.
I think I sold a car on there one time that we had, but I still subscribe to that group. And every once in a while, there's something in there. I find a jet ski that I might want, or something crazy comes up there. But lo and behold, there's people that are offering their services. So, with all the snow we got, there's somebody that says they're going to clean your driveway, So there are some beneficial things, if you don't feel like shoveling your driveway. But there's always people in there that said they'll fix your car. We come to you, we'll fix your cars, $20 an hour. How are you going to compete with that? Doesn't matter if they have insurance. It doesn't say anything about the car's fixed right. It doesn't say anything where you're going to find this guy if you got a warranty. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you decide to just compete on price, it's a losing battle. There is always going to be somebody cheaper than you.
Yeah. So therein lies the problem, because then you have that, you have that dilemma, charge what you're worth and potentially have that person walk and you lose the opportunity, or jump in and start playing that game, and you charge less, you get the job. But the problem is, when you compete on price, we're going to talk about price and determining price and things like that. But the problem is, when you lower your price, your margins go down. In other words, your income goes down, and you wind up having to do more work to make up for, you just lowered your price on this job. It's the same job, by the way, but now you lowered your price. So now you've got to do more work. Now, more work. Do you have more time to do more work? I don't know about you, but most guys are busy as hell, much less doing, twice as much work for the same pay. It just winds up being in that spiral. But, I get it. Sometimes you just need to keep the guys busy. So you sacrifice that, but that's a problem. And I think everybody runs into that. So I know we did a training on this recently inside the war room, one of the benefits of being a full war room member, because you get access to these trainings. But we did a training on determining your labor rate, the right labor rate for you. So, I mentioned somebody had posted something asking what everybody's charging for labor all around town, but it's not a matter of just seeing whatever everybody else charge. It's you've got to charge what's right for you. And that's a very, very individual thing, right, Jerry?
Yeah. And anytime it is, because it's all based on your expenses, your technician cost, all of those types of things. Anytime I hear somebody, like, what's your labor rate? Or usually if I'm trying to fix profitability, get that shop owner more money, rarely is it just labor rate. There's a lot of different contributors to that. And the other thing that ran through my mind, Ron, when you were doing that, every time you drop your price. So if you did a drop your price $50 on a brake job, whatever the amount is, who takes the brunt of that? It's always just the owner. Mm-hmm. Always. I never gone out and asked my technician, could I pay you $5 an hour less to do the brake job because I really got beat up a little bit on price? They don't want to hear that. So it's always the owner that ends up with the short end of the stick.
Yeah. And look, your pricing basically is determined on how much you want to make at the end, and every shop's different, and Jerry said your expenses. So you could be on the corner lot on the busiest street in town. You may have some, a bunch of ATECs in there, and you stepped up to get those people in the door. Maybe you're doing a lot of advertising, and, your expenses are higher. Well, you can't compete with the guy who's working out of the trunk of his car. You can't compete on price there. And I think entirely too many people do that. The problem is that guy down the street who may have a full service shop and everything, he's not paying attention to that. All he's doing is he's calling around, he's doing secret shopper, right? He's calling around to see what everybody else is charging, or he's asking the guy, what do I mark up on parts? Or, look, guys, it depends on your business and how much money you want to make. So for example, we teach our clients 20% net. So for every $1,000 you sell, $200 is what goes into the business. That's what's left over for the business. And if you're the owner, that's what's left over for you, plus paying yourself as a technician or a service advisor, or whatever. So you got to have everything in place in order for for 20% to go to that bottom line. You charge too little on labor, too little on your parts, you ain't getting 20% on the bottom. And a lot of times you might be going negative and you may not even know it, but you got the job, right? You kept the guys busy,
right? We'll make it up
right?
in volume, right? We'll make it up in volume. That's the thing. I'll get the next one. It just never happens that way. So it's something that I focus on all the time. When you talk about that, just that 20% net goal, think about that the next time. Here's your mathematical equation, think about that the next time. So we talked about lowering your price $50. I mentioned that brake job. Well, go ahead and take $50 and divide it by 20%. That's what you need to do in sales. Everybody take out your handy dandy calculator and go ahead and divide 50. The number will surprise you. Said 50 divided by 20%, and it says $250. So to drop that price, $50, I have to sell an additional $250 just to get back to that break even. Think about that on a larger discount or something like that. So it's a game that's very, very difficult to win.
Yeah. So think of it this way, another way to put yourself in that situation, or when you're talking to your service advisor, just say, because you lowered that price $50, the next job that comes in the door let's say is $250, we did that one for free. Because we made nothing. We had to do that $250 to make up for that $50 you took off. So that's really where you want to be paying attention to, is, holding your price. But before and look, I think the temptation is there to lower the price, but before you do this, price isn't the only thing. I mean, so there's a difference between price and value, okay? And people are willing to pay for the value. So last week I was with a group of other business owners down in Orlando, And we went to a steak restaurant where they had a 65-ounce tomahawk steak. Okay, now if I would buy that at the local butcher, I'm going to say that's probably a $75, $80 steak or something like that. This thing was $220. Okay, there's value there because the presentation, because of the restaurant, how you're treated, all the other stuff that's going on. It's an expensive steakhouse, and they add more value in there. Now, if I was down at the local Ponderosa and they stuck that 65, like imagine finding a 65-ounce tomahawk steak at a Ponderosa, and you'd say, well, I'm not going to, I can buy that at Kroger for $75. So that's what I'll pay you for it, because there's really nothing more that you're adding to that. So you have to look at the price on one thing, but the way you also that you get out of that price game, and that's really what we're suggesting you do, is stop getting out of the price game and understand there's value that you add that goes far above price. So, for example, values, convenience. How convenient are you to do business with? Some people, not some, a lot of people will pay more just so they don't have to bum a ride from somebody else to run all over the place. They'll pay more because you offer loaner cars. And they're not without a car, and that freedom, they don't want to be locked in place, anymore. They want that freedom in there, the quality work that you're doing it right the first time. You're not kind of trying to figure it out on the job. You've got good technicians. You do quality work. There's value there. What about the relationship that you have with your clientele? There's time. I know most of the things I pay for, I could probably get done cheaper somewhere else, but I'd almost feel like I'm cheating on somebody, because the places that treat me right, I kind of think of as my family. I kind of take them under my wing, and it's like, I'm always going to do business with you because I care about you. See, those are things that people don't think about. They think about when somebody wants a discount, that's the only way you can come back on it. And there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, I think about especially for the females out there, but even for us guys, maybe where do you go to get your haircut? Your barber, or stylist, whatever you want to call, beautician. I don't know what all the names.
I use a beautician, of course.
Okay, yeah, but how long you been going to her?
Over 30 years.
Wow. So if you raised her price $5, would you go somewhere else across town?
She's doubled the price since I started working there. No problem. I'd go back to her all the time.
Yeah. And I won't know my wife drives across town, the gal that she follows or whatever that has done her hair now is, a 30-minute commute. Price isn't it at all. It's things like honesty, trust. I'm glad you mentioned loaner cars. I always think when I teach a sales class too, it's one of the slides I put up there. But do you remember those old scales? Like maybe, I don't know, butchers don't even have them. I don't know where they came from, but you got two brass plates, with a chain on them. And, they're able to tell by dropping a weight on exactly how much something weighs. Well, on one of those plates, you've got price. And on the other plate, you have value. So when the price is high, I need to make sure that that's a good balance, price and value, because if it's high price and no value, right? You're picturing that scale, customers aren't going to buy it. So you always got to maintain value and price. Not only that, but it allows you to do other things. So sometimes people ask me about, what would you do if a customer's was out of warranty by a couple of days? Well, if I'm scratching for margins because I'm always competing on price, it's like, thank God, he's out of warranty by 2 days. You're screwed, buddy. Well, what would you do if you ran a successful business, you had plenty of profits because you charged the right amount? I'm going to take care of that customer. If you want to talk about building relationships and building a rabid following, it allows you to do things. Same thing with hiring the best of the best employees. Same thing.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to another end of it before we wrap this things up. But think of the customer. Is this the right customer for you? Look, if the guy is there strictly on price and that's all he wants is the cheapest price. Look, what we teach is repeat business. Get somebody in the door, do a phenomenal job, and get them back again and again and again. Not only with that car, but every other car that's sitting in his driveway in the evening. Okay, so we want them back as often as possible. But if he's constantly beating up on price, do you even want him back? So by dropping your pants on price, you might have gotten him one time in a very unprofitable job. Your job is to get that guy back in the door, but do you even want them? Are they worth sacrificing your profits because you want to develop a relationship with somebody whose only interest is price? So that's another thing to kind of think about. Okay. So, and I think really what this boils down to is your ability or your confidence in your sales. Okay. People think because you know the job, we have so many shop owners that, you know the business, so you can explain it. But that doesn't make you a good salesperson. It doesn't make you a good persuader or a good advisor to that person. There's a lot more into it than just knowing what the heck's going on and knowing how to price. You got to be able to hold your margins, and you got to know how to present. And a lot of times you get into this price war because all you did is jump straight to the price. You didn't show any value. You didn't show any value in your expertise in selling additional services, if that's, if you're upselling or whatever. And so the sales process is all screwed up. So before we want to wrap this up, one of the things that I thought, once Gerry and I decided we were going to talk about this, I thought ultimately what you need is to know how to sell. So, and if you guys missed it during our Black Friday and Cyber Week, after, in November, first part of December, we had our latest and newest sales course that we had at a ridiculously inexpensive price. So if you guys are interested, what I did is I went and I turned that switch back on. So if you want to grab the course, let me see what we're selling for. That thing, the sales course normally was, I'm going to scroll down here because it's on there. It was normally $597. It's now $149, but only for another week. If you guys are interested, what you do is go to maverickshopowners.com/Black-Friday. Okay. So it's our Black Friday. I mean, literally this is the same page we had up. You can get a car count course for the same price, $149, and you can get the sales course for $149, or get them both or whatever. But if you guys want to do that, 6-month money back guarantee on it, if you go through it and it's not what you wanted. But again, it's maverickshopowners.com/Black-, that's the little straight line, Friday.
Can you type that, Ron, in the chat, and I'll just share one little nugget.
Sure. Okay.
For those of you that maybe don't know, I've hired a new service advisor, and I'm trying to teach him our way of sales. So just a few moments ago, I had a young lady in here with a Volkswagen, and I said, when you call her, not quite the first words out of your mouth. We're going to build a relationship and talk about the inspections, but very early on in the sales process, I want you to write this down and make sure you ask this question. What are your plans for the vehicle? Not words are important, not how long are you keeping the car. Could you tell me what are your plans for the vehicle? And many people, I don't want it too many to say, I'm selling that POS. No, most people say I want to keep it for a number of years. Great, because when I'm presenting the price now, I let them know that I used really high quality parts to make sure that I meet those expectations. If price is the only thing that's important to you, and if you were telling me you're only going to keep the car for 6 months, I would let you know I have lower quality options available. So I'm justifying the price. So, again, training a new service advisor, that's fresh on my mind today. I said, write it down, and I want them to ask it that specific way. So that's just a little nugget of a bunch of the stuff we have in that course that, really, you said it, Ron, and I don't know if anybody caught it, but in a way, sales is influence. And that's not it's influence, it's persuasion. It's not, I don't believe we sell anybody anything. It's using the right words, and the customer makes the right decision because I'm trying to align with what are their plans, what are their goals for the vehicle.
And this is, it's like a 6-step sales process. I know you're the 8-step process. He's the one that teaches it. So, but 8-step sales process. And that process doesn't start when you're presenting the offer. No, that process starts long before then. So hopefully guys got some good value out of this thing. What I don't want you doing is being like that idiot down the street and competing on price. this industry is, you deserve to get paid a lot more, especially these days where parts are difficult to get, and customers are well, they know prices are going up. Take advantage of them, but take advantage of the opportunity to get paid what you're worth. Okay. And again, if you guys want some sales help, if you want to learn Gerry's entire sales process, that's sold millions and millions of dollars without any pressure whatsoever, go to maverickshopowners.com/Black-Friday. You've got a week. Okay. So next Wednesday, next hump day, by the time we start the call, ain't going to be able to get it. All right. So you got to do it right now. If you guys are with us on Zoom, there's a link. If not, I will put the link to this on the Facebook group, as well as the email that I'm going to be sending out with this follow-up. So hopefully you all had some good value here today. I really appreciate your time, Gerry. I know you're looking for that little.
I am. It's just buried in here. I got them laminated here. So the 8-step sales process. There it is.
Yeah, it's very simple, step by step. It's like a paint by number system. If you follow it, you get the sale. It's really awesome. So thanks, everybody. Have an awesome week.